You have a life. Go out and live it. Simplyweb.me will take care of your website. Simplyweb.me. Effortless website maintenance. Okay, so today I'm going to be designing a t-shirt for a client. They have run out of their stock, so they asked me to come up with some ideas. And I went through the ideas with the marketing director. She and I sat down and we went through this video here, and we saw a bunch of ideas from this video right here. We liked this retro idea, so I took a shot of that. We liked the colors of this and the idea of that. And there was another one. There was one more that we really liked. This one, very similar. I think this is going to be the basis of our design to get started. So I'm going to start with this one. And we're going to do another video, and this one is on lettering, but we didn't particularly care for this lettering. We saw this one. And so we want to do something like that with the school name on it. And then there was this one. This design idea is called minimal. So we're going to do something along those lines. And we liked this one as well. This is minimal, but we're probably just going to stick with the retro cat today. Right here, we're going to start here. So that's going to be for today. But then the next thing is, what size do we make this? And for an adult size, they recommend, and links are in the description for all of this, 11 by 11 is what they recommend here. But I don't necessarily like my designs to go edge to edge. So I'm going to do 10 to 11. And we're going to see how that works out. So we'll get started on that. So the last thing I need to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull up Coolers. And if you're new to the channel, I'm a big fan of Coolers. Coolers.co, link in the description. And I already went and grabbed a palette. I created a palette, and we'll take a shot of this as well. So I'll just go ahead and do a Windows print screen, because that saves it in the screenshots, because I want to keep this for a while. Screenshots. There it is right there. Control X. We'll just back up. Here's the assets folder. We also looked at something like this for both the text and the line possibly. These colors are all very similar with all of these designs. So I'll bring this in, and here's our cat. Okay, so we'll go ahead and go to Affinity Designer. So I'm a big fan of Affinity Designer, link in the description if you're new to the channel. So we know it's going to be a 10 by 11. We're going to be doing freestyle today, so we won't need anything other than maybe center guides. So no margin, no bleed, and we'll just start there. So we'll go to our inspiration folder, and here's the cat design. Here's the 1980 design that we liked for lettering and possible colors as well. So we'll bring these two in. Not really sure what we're going to design today. I have a general idea of what I want to try to do. And we want to go to Assets. Here is the color palette. Bring this down, size it down, bring it up here. Okay. That's pretty much our inspiration board, if you will. And if you're new to the channel, I like to keep things organized, and I like to lock my assets folder, and then I turn it on and turn it off as I need it. Now, the other caveat to this is that I can't use their actual logo. So I have to use a logo that's very similar to their logo. It's the same colors, it's the same shape, the same amount of letters. Okay, this is very similar to their logo, but they asked me not to use their logo. They're run by the state legislature, and the state legislature has goofy rules. So I just said, no problem. So we'll go ahead and bring this logo in, and we will paste it here. And the font we're using is Roboto, and I got it from Google Fonts, and it's right here, Roboto. Okay, download it, and I've done a video on that. You download it, and then you install it. So this is going to be our starting point with the logo and whatnot. So this is going to be on the front of the t-shirt. Move this away from Red Mountain, because what I want to do now is I want to create a circle, and I did like the 3/4 circle behind the cat. Now what I want to do is I want to cut this. So I think I want to go about there. So I'm going to put this on top. So I highlight both of these, subtract. Okay, I got lucky. I never know on these, so I just have to trial and error. I got lucky on the first try. So that's really what we're looking for as far as the look and feel of the sun Okay, and now I don't think I want this text that big, so I'm going to bring it in, Shift to constrain it. There it is, the center line, and we can put this on top. Now, we'll do the next trick that we learned in a previous video. In that previous video, we were able to divide an image into 3 equal columns rapidly. So I think we can do that again here. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. I would really appreciate it. It helps build the channel. Okay, so to divide this into 4, first thing you want to do is you want to lock it, and then you take your rectangle and you draw it down here. So we'll make it black so you can see it. And we want to divide this into 4 even strips. So you go to your height of this object here, and then you backspace and do a /4. Okay, and that gives you 4 equal slices that you can now draw here. See that? And we will get rid of this one because we don't need it for now. So now that's divided into 4 equal slices. Now, there's several ways that we could do this. I'm pretty sure I'm going to need to change this to one color, and it's going to take on the stripes. And so the first thing I want to do is let's turn on our assets. Let's go to Red Mountain, and we'll grab this red, and we'll turn Red Mountain to that red so we have it. And up here seems to be our first stripe. So let's go ahead and do that. And we will bring this to the top, right? And we want it red. And we just want it the height of the circle. And it doesn't matter if we go off the sides or not. Doesn't matter. Do a Control J till it hits that line. Then I'll do a Control J and Control J. Okay. And then we'll turn our assets back on. And the next color seems to be this kind of limey green color. So we'll grab this one and we'll pick up the lightish green. And then the next color seems to be the green blue, and we'll turn that color the green blue or goldish color. Okay. Now we can turn off our assets. Now we can just drop these. I believe we can just create a mask and they drop in, and we can just turn our logo, you know, to match the t-shirt. And we could do something like that. Turn off our guidelines, keep it simple. Not really retro looking though. Doesn't really look like a knockout. It kind of does, but not really. So I'm not a big fan of that. Now we could Control J, duplicate our sunset, and we can add it to our logo. First thing we need to do though for that to work is we need to turn our logo into a single shape. Let's duplicate the group. So Control J, okay, and let's move this down to sunset. And let's lock it, and we'll mess with this. Okay, let's take all these shapes out, get them out of the group, get rid of the group, and let's do an add. So now they're all one. So I can change it to white, I can change it to black, we can go back to white, go back to the red, and now we should be able to do this. Do something like that. Okay, and what we can do is we still have our logo and the colors are all lined up and matched. Okay, what we can do is we can try our stroke, do a white stroke. I don't know if this will work, but we could do something like that. Now we have our outline and our retro all in one shirt. That's kind of funky. I don't know if I like that either. Okay, we could turn this off, make this bigger. Doesn't really have equal parts inside the logo. It had equal parts inside the sunset, right? But it doesn't have equal parts inside the logo. So that I would have to fix, which we could do just by maybe reducing that, heightening this, lowering that. Okay, that's kind of funky. So we could go with something like that. That might be something that I could show her. And what we could also do is do right, go behind it, get rid of its color, swatches. We don't need a color on the inside, but we can maybe do a color on the stroke, you know, or we could do that raisin black. Let's just go ahead and make it black now. Polygon, make it black. We could also make the stroke bigger. Okay. We can make it stretch out like that. And we can bring in the whole logo. So we can turn on our assets and we can get that raisin black, because I don't think I've got it here. Grab that and we go to this polygon, make it that color, and then let's drop down its opacity down to a 70. We could do something like that. That's looking a little more retro. I'd want to round the corners on this a little more too. So I could go to my curve tool, highlight all of them, and just round the corners a little bit. Okay, that might be a little much, maybe a little less. So we could do something like that, and we could lower the colors on all of it. Let's see here. Let's drop these down to a 70. No, that doesn't work. But I feel like it's missing something. I feel like it's missing some grunge or something. We need to grunge it up, distress it. So we'll take a look at that as well. We will go ahead and do some more designs. So we'll put this one in a folder. Now, what would it look like if it were on a black shirt? So let's go ahead and do that. So let's grab our raisin black. Let's draw a rectangle. We want the interior raisin black. And it's 100%. Let's drop it down here. Now see, I don't want that. See how the white line is kind of funky? I didn't realize that. So another pro tip here, look at your design in multiple flavors and it'll point out things like, for instance, it's that right in here, this group, I don't want the white line. That's not what I wanted. I wanted it like that. Okay, hold on. Let's grab our polygon. Where is our polygon? Okay, and we can grab that. Now we can maybe make the polygon red. Okay, we can drop down the stroke size. We could also make it white and drop its opacity down to a 20%. See, now that's looking good. That's kind of retro. Okay, so that's what I would do. That's one look I would do for them to get that retro idea. Okay, so we'll put that in the can, group that, and I would call that retro hex, and that would be the first one. Okay, now let's turn that off, and we'll go again. You have a life. Go out and live it. Simplyweb.me will take care of your website. Simplyweb.me. Effortless website maintenance. Okay, so today, after rewatching the video that we did yesterday, I realized that I didn't finish up the whole video, and let's go ahead and open that up. And I made some changes to it from the video to here. I just mostly changed the order of the colors. I went from red to blue to kind of make it look like the sky, from the land to the sky. And I also wanted to keep it Red Mountain. It made more sense than to have the red up in the sky and blue is in the sky. So I just changed the order of the colors. But what I wanted to do is I found I was doing an internet search for t-shirt blanks, and I came across Vista Create, and they've got creative assets, and some of them are pretty darn good. I haven't been to Vista Print in a long time, so I'm not necessarily recommending. I'm just saying this is where I got some of my assets, and those assets are right here. So they provide you these kinds of assets, and I think I want to start there. So what we'll do is we'll turn this layer off, and we'll highlight everything. And we'll do a Control C, and we will start here. And we'll put this here. Now, I know that I need to come in here and I need to turn down my scale. I'm gonna need to turn it on my polygon here. And the reason it's called a curve is when we rounded the corners, when we took the corner tool, which is over here, the corner tool, and we rounded the corners, it became a curve. And I think this is the only line that I need to scale with the object. So we can grab the whole thing again, close this all up, and we can bring it down, and we can just pop it on the shirt here. See, it turned into a circle, so that's not going to work, because the reason it's turned into a circle here is because of the rounded corners. So I'm going to have to rebuild that. So what we'll do is we'll take that off, because I want to keep the specs of it. We'll move that off to the side, but we're going to need to build another one. But let's go ahead and scale. we'll go ahead and scale this down to fit on the shirt, then we'll rebuild it. Like I said, I don't like to go edge to edge. I think it looks better when it sits nice and center. And now I'll come over to here to my shape tool and I will grab the polygon tool again and we will go 6 again to get a hex. We'll come in here, hold Control, hold Shift, pull it out. That seems about right. So we will get rid of the center, but here's where I want the specs of the other one. So let's pull this up here. I don't know what color it is. Oh, I guess it's white. So we'll do this one white, and it is turned down to 20%. So we'll turn this one down to 20% opacity. And we will thicken up the stroke. Scroll it down. That's a lot of distance around it. Probably a little too much. So I'm going to hold Control Shift, bring it in a tad. I want to match the same width as it is here, just visually. I don't want it to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect. I'm going to grab my corner tool. I'm going to highlight all my nodes, and I'm going to pull this in so we can get a rounded corner. Take a look at that. See, it just rounds the corners off to match this kind of round. It doesn't have to be exact. I think this will work nicely. But now I want to pop that in 80%. Well, that one was 20%. This one will stay 20. But it picks up the color of the shirt, so it looks like it's actually sitting in there. We'll drop this down to an 80%. There you go. And it just picks up the highlights of the shirt. Okay, and this helps like the marketing director visualize what it's going to look like in print. And then I want to duplicate this, Control J, and I want to drag it over here, and I want to give them an option. If they want to do 2 sides, you could do something like this in the back. And what we could do is we could just take the web address, duplicate that, and just put it over here on the back side. And then we can drop this down. Okay, we can bring this in a little closer, and I want to take this way down. I'm going to do a 50%. Just kind of blends into the back of the shirt. And this is a great way to help your people visualize what it is that you're thinking. And it doesn't take that much. The biggest pro tip on this is just knock it down a few opacity points, 10 to 15 percentage points, so it picks up the color of the shirt and it just kind of sits in there. So yes, this is going to be presentable. I will go ahead and present this to the marketing director and see what she thinks, and we'll go from there. Like I said in the first part of this video, we're going to do some more designs, and that will be part 2, part 3, perhaps a part 4. I'm not exactly sure how many designs I'm going to do, but this is a good first start. I really enjoyed doing this. Thanks for stopping by, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so. I appreciate it a ton, and it helps the channel. So thanks again, and we'll see you soon. All right, take care.